friends. I am Sanjay Bhagwan Mansukhani from ChangeDestiny.in. I am a teacher of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And today, dear friends, we will be looking at the theory of causation, also called the law of causation, as explained in the Sankhya philosophy given out by Kapila Muni, one of the most prominent Munis, sages from the ancient land of India. Sankhya philosophy, dear friends, is the first philosophy from the spiritual land of India. And what all Kapila Muni presented has been used in one way or the other by all the succeeding philosophies and religion from the land of India. So Sankhya plays a very important role. And let me tell you, Kapila Muni is considered one of the highest Munis to have ever lived on the land of India. He is considered to be at par with the Creator, with God Himself, because so powerful is the philosophy which He has given. And if we are able to understand His theory of causation, His law of causation, let me tell you, you will become a powerful entity. You will be able to manifest each and everything you desire in this life. You will become the master of the universe if you understand this law, this theory in its finer details. I am here today in this talk to share with you this particular work of Kapila Muni on causation. I want you to become empowered. I want you to have the ability, based on this knowledge, to create for yourself and your near and dear ones whatever you desire. With this knowledge, you can scale up to any level of operations from wherever you currently are in your business, in your trade, in your profession. That is the beauty of this law of causation, this theory of causation. So let us look at it and let us take a deep look. I will make it as simple as I can so that you can absorb it and make complete use of it. This philosophy, dear friends, of Sankhya calls causation, the theory of causation, as Sat Karyavad. What is Sat? Sat means our existence. This existence is Sat. What is Karya? Karya is the result, the effect, the outcome of this Sat, this existence. And what is Vad? Vad is the philosophy, Vad is the theory, Vad can be understood as the science. So what it effectively says is, within the existence is hidden the effect of this existence. What it means is, within the cause, there is the effect also, but it is hidden. It cannot be seen. Let us see an example. Let us say, for example, I have a mango seed. Now, when I am looking at a mango seed, can I look at a mango tree also? I'm sure many of us would not be able to think of a mango tree while we are looking at a mango seed. But friends, in the seed, along with the seed, is the mango tree. So when I sow the seed in the right kind of soil, at the right depth, and give it air, water, sunlight, and other protection, on its own, by itself, after some time, there would be a mango tree. So did I produce the tree? No, I did not produce the tree. The tree was there, the program of the tree, the information about the tree, the structure of the tree, the science of constructing the tree, everything, all information was already there inside the mango seed. So here, dear friends, the cause and the effect are there together everywhere in Prakriti, everywhere in nature, everywhere in existence. So this principle, in a very simple way, is called Satkaryavad, where the existence by itself carries the information about the effect which it is going to produce after some time when the right conditions have been provided. Now, when you see a mango tree, do you see mango seeds also? We don't. We just see the tree as the tree. But there are mango seeds also. Because the tree is the cause of the mango seeds. Though we are not able to see the seeds in the initial stage, when we are able to see the tree, but the seeds are there. The effect of the seeds is there along with the cause of the tree. It is only with time, when the right conditions come, that the seeds will become visible. But does it mean when the seeds were not visible, were they not there? The seeds were very much there, even though they were not visible, physically visible. They were there mentally. They were there as a plan. They were there as a structure inside the seed, and the seed was visible. So this is the way Prakriti works. This is the way Prakriti moves. Now the question is, what is the primal cause? What is the main cause of this creation, this existence? The primal cause, the main cause, the solo cause, the mother cause of all that we see and perceive in this creation is the Mool Prakriti. Mool Prakriti means the primordial Prakriti, the nascent Prakriti, the unmanifest Prakriti, the unseen Prakriti, which is there, ever existing, but completely inert, completely inactive, completely unconscious. But that Mool Prakriti also has the three gunas, the three qualities of Rajas, Sattva and Tamas. And these three qualities of Rajas, Sattva and Tamas are always existing together in fluctuating proportions, fluctuating combination of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. What is Sattva? Sattva means the quality of formlessness. If you look at Prakriti, the manifested Prakriti, we find certain areas where there is no form. Air has no form. Space has no form. So we find certain pockets, we find certain spaces which has no form. That is Sattva. We also find certain spaces, certain areas, certain regions in this creation which has a form, which has shape, color, size, weight. So these two are the first two gunas, qualities of Prakriti, of nature. There is a third one, that is change, that is transformation. Because what is not having a form may have a form after some time. What is having a form may go out of form in some time. So with the form and with the formless is also the transformation quality in Prakriti. So these three always coexist. And when these three always coexist, Prakriti keeps on going through rapid change. But when Prakriti is unmanifest, when Prakriti is unseen, when Prakriti is in the primordial state, in the nascent stage, in the Mool Prakriti stage, then that Prakriti is in equilibrium, is stable. So what it means is, the three gunas of Rajas, Sattva and Tamas are fluctuating in such a way that the end result is not changing. The Prakriti remains unchanged, though unseen, though unmanifest. So this is the Mool Prakriti, primordial Prakriti, which is the primal cause, the root cause, the main cause of all that which comes into existence. So everything in existence, anything and everything in existence has come from Mool Prakriti. Anything and everything in existence has the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So let us keep it for a while here. I'll come back to it in some time, dear friends. But let us keep it for a while here. Now let's say, Kapila Muni made certain important observations. He said, out of nothing, something cannot come. That means if nothing is the cause, the effect cannot be something, because nothing by nature cannot have an effect connected to it, because if the cause is nothing. So how can there be any effect out of it? So the effect also will be nothing. So there is no change. So nothing remains nothing. So there is no cause and effect. So what it means is, out of nothing, something cannot come. And if you have something, out of something, nothing cannot come. Now why is that so? Out of something, nothing cannot come. Because when you have something as a cause, then that something has an effect associated with it, present there. Though it might be hidden, we might not be able to see it in that time. The way we discussed about the seed and the tree. So if I have something, say a seed, a mango seed, then there is a mango tree there. If I have a banana seed, then there is a banana tree there. If I have a grape seed, then there is a grape tree there. But if I have nothing, no seed, then what tree can come out of no seed? Nothing can come out of no seed. So to repeat, Kapila Muni made two important observations. He said, out of nothing, something cannot come. Out of something, nothing cannot come. This is a very important point here. In modern science, in modern parlance, it can be translated into matter cannot be created nor destroyed. And the corollary to this, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So very, very important. Kapila Muni thousands of years back was able to say this because he had a fundamental insight into existence through his mind power, through his ability to discriminate, through his ability of innate wisdom and knowledge. So let us go a bit further now. If you can think of anything under the sun, know that it is true. And what you have thought of today in the mental domain is also existing in the physical domain somewhere in time, somewhere shifted in time from the present moment. Because you are able to think about it, that means it is something. And this something is not nothing. This something is already there in existence. So whatever you are thinking about will have a corresponding effect. It will be out there manifested sometime in time. Say for instance, I think that man can travel to the sun. Now this is a thought. If I have been able to think of this, then this is something which I have thought. Now this something cannot have a zero result. It is not that man will not be able to reach the sun. The man will reach the sun. If the thought has come in the mental domain, what it simply means is it is existing in the physical domain somewhere already. And it will become visible once you reach that time domain. To understand this at an even more deeper level, at an even more, I would say, a level which will give more clarity to this concept, there are three dimensions of this existence. One is the spiritual dimension, other is the mental dimension, and the third is the physical dimension. All of them are there. All of them are together present, but may be shifted in time. So from the spirit comes the mind. From the mind comes matter. How does it happen? This is something which Kapila Muni has not explained in detail, but if you study the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, you will realize this. Kapila Muni has given the clue. He says this whole creation, this whole existence is coming out of the coming together of Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is consciousness, unchanging consciousness, pure consciousness. It also means pure knowledge, complete knowledge. Prakriti is changing unconsciousness. That is, Prakriti is inert but constantly changing. Purusha is conscious but constantly constant, constantly unchanging. So when these two come close to each other, the whole creation, the whole evolution of existence takes place. And that becomes the cause. That Mool Prakriti becomes the cause. Because the Purush cannot change. It is only the Prakriti which can change. So out of the Mool Prakriti, one by one, the whole existence, the whole creation comes out. First we have the Mahat, the cosmic mind, the cosmic intelligence. Then we have the Buddhi out of it, which is the individual intelligence. So Buddhi is the individual part of the cosmic part of intelligence. Out of this Buddhi, individual intelligence, comes ego, individual ego. Out of individual ego comes individual mind, individual senses of perception, individual senses of action, individual subtle elements of Prakriti nature, individual gross elements of Prakriti nature. All this is individual. So each one of us is in our own world, customized world. Each one of us is in our own individual creation. And our own individual ability of the combination of the individual intellect, individual ego and the individual mind controls this creation. We can change this creation. We can change it to any level, anywhere we want. Now, where does the law of causation become the primary law of manifestation of whatever we desire? Anything which we desire can be created using the principles which I have so far shared with you here in my talk. So let us go a bit more deep now. Let us go into the applied part of this knowledge. Let us bring permanent happiness and joy and pleasure and prosperity and whatever that you desire in your life. So if you desire anything in your life as an effect, be rest assured it is physically there. All you need to do is locate the cause. The cause which will cause this effect. Because if you have an effect, then there is a cause also with it. We had seen initially when I began my talk, every cause has an associated effect. Similarly, every effect has to have an associated cause. So the moment you realize that what you have thought as a dream, as a vision, is physically present somewhere in time and it will appear before you, if you begin the process of first locating the cause, what will cause it. Once you locate the cause, once you are able to intelligently find out the cause, then for movement from the cause to the effect, there is going to be a process. Figure out that process. If you can figure it out yourself, that is beautiful. If you cannot figure it out yourself, go to an expert. Because you will find anything which is made in this creation has to go through a process. First, a mental process, then a physical process, so that what you desire is physically given to you in that form, shape, size, color and properties. And each process, whether mental or physical, has its own experts. So once when you identify those experts, sit with them and tell them about the effect which you want, the end result which you desire. So what could be the cause which can cause that? They might be able to tell you straight away. Second, if they are unable to tell, then you figure out yourself. See closely to that effect. See with your insight. See with your intuition. See with your third eye. See with your sixth sense. You will find the cause hovering around that effect. Pick up that cause. Now think, what will move that cause to the stage of the effect? What needs to be done? For example, I'll again come back to that mango seed analogy which I gave you. From the mango seed to the mango tree, there is a process. The first process is that the mango seed has to be inserted into the soil, and the proper right kind of soil. So that is how the process begins. It needs air, it needs water, it needs sunlight, it needs protection. Rest Mother Nature takes care. Even the sunlight, the air, the water, Mother Nature takes care. The seed has the program, the seed has the blueprint. It becomes the tree. The food, nutrition for that seed comes from the soil. The roots know how to grow, and there are millions of cells inside those roots, but they know how to grow, in which direction to grow, how much to grow, how to tap water, how to bring up the nutrients, where to take those nutrients. And slowly, steadily, once the blueprint keeps on unfolding, the inner intelligence of the seed keeps on working out a plan and executing that plan, we have a fantastic tree in front of us. Similarly, for your manifestation, when you find the cause and you find the effect, you need to figure out the process. And all that you need to do is execute that process. And as I said earlier, you can always tap into the knowledge and experience of the experts. You are not going to be the first man on Mars. You are not going to be the first man on Sun. It may be possible that in the previous universe, people would have traveled to the Sun on a regular basis. We do not know. We are completely ignorant about what the possibilities could have been or were. And we completely are ignorant about what the possibilities are tomorrow or the day after or after billions and trillions and zillions of years. We do not know at this point of time. So dear friends, the point I am trying to tell you is, if you can think of anything, it is real. It is there in the universe, cosmos. You need to look at the cause and move from the cause into the process and reach till the effect. If you cannot locate the cause, look at an expert who can help you locate the cause. If you cannot locate the process, locate an expert who can help you identify the process and walk through that process. So if you understand now Satkaryavad in its entirety, in the way I have explained to you, you will realize that anything and everything under the sun can be done. It is such a powerful method that I don't think any philosophy so far on this planet has come out with a more powerful, I would say, theory of causation, or let me call it a theory of manifestation of all that you desire. This is what the yogis used, and they were able to create unbelievable results, unbelievable effects in their life. Because you see, the root cause of everything is Prakriti, and the yogi was able to move from an object in the outer world backwards inside his mind. From the object outside, he would pull his attention to the senses, from the senses to the mind, from the mind to the ego, from the ego to the individual intellect, from the individual intellect to the cosmic intelligence, cosmic intellect, from the cosmic intellect to the Mool Prakriti, to the stage of the three gunas. And since that is the primal cause, after putting his attention there, focusing on it, he was able to pierce that and reach there mentally. And once when he was able to reach there mentally, because of his high level of concentration, he was able to fiddle around with the composition of Rajas, Sattva and Tamas. And when you change the proportion and combination of the three gunas, you are actually changing the characteristics, the properties of a particular state of matter. You are changing the time element of that particular piece of matter. You are changing the condition, the outer conditions of that particular state of matter. So a yogi, using this law of causation, using this law of Satkaryavad, using this law that the existence itself has the effect there, hidden in it. A yogi could virtually cause anything from anything, because at the end of it, everything and anything is Prakriti. Anything and everything in Prakriti has the three gunas, and once if you have access to the three gunas, once if you have the power of concentration to modify the three gunas, then who can stop you from creating and manifesting anything under the sun? So this is the broader idealistic version of the Satkaryavad philosophy. But if you want to manifest small things, things of which will give you happiness, satisfaction, pleasure, riches on this planet, then you can very well do that also. So dear friends, this is the talk on Satkaryavad, and as I told you, it gives you the power over the creation, to read the creation, find out what effects it has got hidden in itself, and if need be, with the power of concentration, one can change those effects and create the desired effects. So if you are able to achieve these kind of powers, then you will be able to achieve even permanent happiness in your life. And achieving permanent happiness or removal of complete sorrow from human life is the ultimate goal of human life across various philosophies and religions. So Sankhya offers this method, this technique by which one can do it, using pure knowledge, using pure power of the mind to apply that knowledge, dig into that knowledge and go deeper and deeper into new and new layers of knowledge. That is why Sankhya means Samkhya. Samkhya means complete knowledge, and Sankhya also means a number. So in the Sankhya darshan of Kapila Muni, complete knowledge has been encapsulated in 25 countable principles. They are called the 25 tattvas of creation. So once you understand these countable tattvas of creation, you gain complete knowledge over the creation. You become the master of the creation. And once you know the law of causation, then anything and everything you can do. You are the master. You are the boss of this creation. So with this, dear friends, we come to the end of today's talk. I thank you profusely for being here, listening to me. And I'm sure you will be able to figure out how to achieve permanent happiness in your life, in the lives of your family members, in the lives of the people of your society, community, people of your country, and overall all the people of this world. Dear friends, let us bring permanent happiness on our planet. Let us create a happy planet, and let us give that happy planet to our coming generations, to our children. And let us make this planet better for them, just because all of us were here. Let us come together, friends. Let us use the ancient science of yoga, the ancient science of the mind from the land of India to heal ourselves, to heal other people, to heal our planet. So let us all come together and heal our planet together, so that we are able to create a happy planet for our coming generations. Thank you. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you. Thank you so much. May God bless each one of you for being here and patiently listening to me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.